Premium quality football shirts at an extremely affordable price. Sound good? If so, check out the sponsor of today's video, jerseyfifa.com. You can see that I've sent you some shirts and they really are top quality, so make sure to click the link in the description to go find a shirt for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else. And you can now use code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. I really do recommend their product, so go take a look. Now let's get into the analysis. So all the talk this summer has been about the players that Erik ten Hag and Manchester United want to bring in, and obviously I'm included in that. We've done numerous videos talking about how different players would fit into the team if they were signed. And whilst there is clearly the need for more incomings this summer, I also think it's important to point out that there are players already at the club that I'm sure Erik ten Hag will enjoy working with. Donny van de Beek is a prime example of this. Personally, I think another example of a player that ten Hag will like is Jadon Sancho. For me, he is one of the most underrated players in Europe right now after a slightly slow season last year, but in my opinion he has everything to be successful. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to discuss some of his main strengths as a player, and then after that I want to talk about how Erik ten Hag could use him next season, because I do genuinely think he could be one of the most important players. But first the strengths, and I think everyone will agree with me that Jadon Sancho's clear major strength is his ball carrying ability, and for me he is one of the best in Europe at picking the ball up around the halfway line before then carrying the team forward. As well as being able to carry the ball over large distances, Sancho is also excellent in tighter situations as well, thanks to his brilliant quick feet and quick thinking, which so often allows him to take the ball and wriggle through tight spaces. On top of this ability to beat players, Sancho is also very capable of doing the simpler side of the game, and he's extremely proficient with his passing, so if the dribble isn't an option, he is more than happy to recycle possession. As well as perhaps keeping things simple to maintain possession for his side, Sancho also has an eye for a killer pass as well, and I think it's his creative side of his game from out wide that really interests me and excites me. One way that Sancho often looks to create is with crossing into the box, and whilst we didn't see it too much last season, we've seen with Dortmund and with England that he has this brilliant ability to pick out a teammate with a cross into the box. Finally, the last trait I just want to talk about is Jadon Sancho's versatility. When he first signed for the club, we assumed he would play on the right. However, he found his best form from the left, whilst personally I think he can play in the middle as well. These are all obviously things that ten Hag will be thinking about when it comes to making his team selection, but even just after looking at Sancho for about 2 minutes, I think we can already see that he has a lot of attributes that ten Hag will admire. So the first question is, where will he play? And I think there is certainly a possibility that we see him playing on the right hand side of the attack. Now whilst that didn't work last season, he was brilliant there for Dortmund, so we could see it again. In this respect, he could be used in a similar way to how Antony was at Ajax last season, where he is really used to hold the width, allowing him to receive the ball in isolated situations, meaning that he can get up against his man time and time again. This could potentially work for Manchester United, because we know they have so many players that like to drift to the left hand side, so United could potentially build up down the left before then switching the play to Sancho on the right. Now this could potentially mean that there are spells in the game when Sancho doesn't get enough of the ball. However, with the opposition caught out by the switch, it could allow Sancho to get into a lot of 1 versus 1 situations, which could be deadly. The reason this could be so deadly is because of what I was saying earlier. Sancho is a winger that absolutely thrives when taking on his man, and he almost plays like a bit of a street footballer, so this sort of role could really suit him quite nicely. Of course, if this was the case, then you would back Sancho to get past his man more often than not, and that obviously then gives him space to work in out wide, and Sancho is certainly not a player that the opposition want to give time to, because he will punish you. I can just imagine that if we did see Sancho playing this sort of role, then we could see him sending a lot of crosses into the box. This is something that Sancho is very good at, and we know it's something that ten Hag likes from his sides. Whilst all of that does sound quite promising, Sancho's best performances have always come when he has had a fullback supporting him, and I'm just not sure that would be the case if he plays on the right hand side of Erik ten Hag's system. That is why I think we could well see him playing on the left hand side instead, because it seems as though United's best attacking fullbacks play on the left, with both Shaw and Malacia carrying a lot of attacking threat from this side. Now this would obviously help Sancho, because with the fullback bombing forward to provide the width, Sancho would then be able to come inside onto his stronger right foot, and it just feels like quite a natural pattern of play to develop. Moving inside the pitch into these positions would allow Sancho to get into little pockets of space in the half spaces, and with his street football background, I think that this could be where he can really kick on and thrive as a Manchester United player. One of the reasons for this is his link play. I was saying earlier how Sancho is a very capable passer, and moving into these narrow positions would of course give him more passing options, allowing you to get the best out of Sancho as a player. Whilst I'm sure that Sancho would impress with his interplay in tight spaces, linking up with his teammates, I think the most exciting thing about him in this slightly narrower position would be his ability to create chances in and around the box. Now, you might worry that playing in a narrow position would take away from his dribbling, but I don't think that is the case, because he could still start wide to receive the pass, before then using his quick feet and ball carrying ability to move more central. Having moved into these central areas, I do think that one thing that Sancho needs to develop is his decision making. Don't get me wrong, I do think it is already of an extremely high level, but I think it just needs to improve slightly as he continues to develop. Now, whilst I'm saying that, Sancho has had seasons where he has produced some absolutely ridiculous numbers, so the decision making is clearly there, but I think Ten Hag can help him refine it just slightly to make him a truly elite winger. If Sancho is able to do these things, then I am of the belief that he is the perfect Erik Ten Hag winger, because we know that he loves his wide players to bring bags of creativity to this side, and there is no doubt that Sancho would do that. For me, that is how I would describe Jadon Sancho. He is an out and out creative winger. Yes, he will contribute goals to a team over the course of a season, but more often than not, he will be looking to create a chance for one of his teammates. In particular, I do think that Sancho could develop quite a nice partnership with Bruno Fernandes. We already know that Bruno likes to drift slightly to the left, so the two of them could complement each other quite naturally down this side. The other player that Sancho could develop quite a good understanding with is Cristiano Ronaldo, just because of his brilliant goal scoring ability, although with the news that has broke since I made this video, that may not be the case anymore. That is obviously an issue that Ten Hag now has to figure out, because the lack of a striker just further adds to the problems that Manchester United need to address, but fortunately in Jadon Sancho, Ten Hag is an almost perfect attacking player ready. The other important thing is that Sancho is a hard working player out of possession, and whilst I do think he needs to improve his pressing from a tactical point of view, I think he's already shown that he is more than happy to put that hard work in. Again, that is something that Ten Hag will demand. He will expect his team to defend as a unit, but again Sancho already ticks that box, and he's even a player that is willing to track back and help his fullback when they're in difficult situations. Whilst I do think that Sancho will please Ten Hag from a defensive point of view, I think the real reason to get excited about Jadon Sancho is for what he does on the ball, and in Erik Ten Hag's possession-orientated team, he should get the ball a lot. Ultimately, that is the aim. Sancho is one of those players that is so technically gifted that you just give him the ball as often as possible, because he will make something happen, and it's something that we should see more moving into next season. If this is the case, then I expect this to be the year that Sancho really kicks on. He's had his year to settle back into English football, but I think now with the guidance of Erik Ten Hag, he's really ready to kick on from an attacking point of view. Because I think if you give Sancho the ball enough, he will make things happen. If you keep getting the ball into the final third, he is eventually either going to create a goal scoring chance for someone else, or he'll stick it in the back of the net himself. It's for all of these reasons that I think Sancho, and just the wingers in general, are the players that could really benefit from Erik Ten Hag the most. The team should actually finally have some attacking patterns in place, rather than relying on individual moments. It may take time, but I am confident that we will see a better attacking setup, because that is what Ten Hag does. His teams are incredibly fluid, positional rotations are key, and this will be music to the ears of a young baller like Sancho. That's why, if everything goes right, I think that Jadon Sancho could be about to take the Premier League by storm, and why I think that he could be one of Erik Ten Hag's most important players. I'm really excited to see how it all works out. And actually, I'm sure you guys are too. So if you are, make sure to give the video a like, and also get into the comments down below and let me know your thoughts. What side do you think Sancho will play on, and is he going to kick on this year? Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.